This is in continuation with my previous lecture on the chapter A Letter to God, and which is written by G.L. Fintis, and we had read in the chapter, we had discussed, I had explained out how the rain changed into hailstones and everything was lost for Lencho. We had discussed about the 4 questions also, which was given at the end of the first part of the chapter. Now let's continue with the second part. But in the hearts of all who lived in that solitary house, in the middle of the valley, there was a single hope, help from God. Don't be so upset, even though it seems like total loss. Remember, no one dies of hunger. That's what they say. No one dies of hunger. All through the night, Lencho thought only of this one hope, the help of God, whose eyes, as he had been instructed, see everything, even what is deep in one's conscience. Lencho was an ox of a man, working like an animal in the field, but still he knew how to write. The following Sunday at daybreak, he began to write a letter which he himself would carry to town and place in the mail. It was nothing less than a letter to God. So you can very well understand, you must have understood also. So he didn't lose hope. He decided to write a letter to God. God, he wrote, if you don't help me, my family and I will go hungry this year. I needed 100 pesos in order to sow my field again, to live until the crop comes because the hailstones. He wrote to God on envelope, put the letter inside, and still troubled went to town. At the post office, he placed a stamp on the letter and dropped it into the mailbox. So he wrote a letter to God, told him that he and his family will go hungry if he is not getting any help from God. And he requested for 100 pesos. He stamped the letter. Before stamping the letter, he went to the town. At the post office, he placed the stamp onto the letter and dropped it onto the mailbox. One of the employees, who was a postman and also helped at post office, went to his boss laughing heartily and showed him the letter to God. Never in his career has a postman had he known that address. The postmaster, a fat, amiable fellow, also broke out laughing. But almost immediately he turned serious and tapping the letter on his desk commented, "What faith! I wish I had the faith of the man who wrote this letter, starting up a correspondence with God." So the letter was picked up by postman and he went laughingly to the postmaster. The postmaster was also laughing. They felt it amazing because up till now they had never seen any letter which was addressed to God. So after having a nice amusing time, then the postmaster commented on the faith of Lencho and then they started a discussion on it. So in order not to shake the writer's faith in God, the postmaster came up with an idea. Answer the letter. But when he opened it, it was evident that to answer it, he needed something more than goodwill, ink and paper. But he stuck to his resolution. He asked for money from his employees. He himself gave a part of his salary. And several friends of his were obliged to give something for the act of charity. So students, once the postmaster decided that he is going to really help this fellow, Lencho, they opened the letter. But once they opened the letter, they found the letter needed something more. And what was that more? The more was 100 pesos. But still, he was strongly committed and he decided, no, he is going to help Lencho. And so he decided that he is going to give part of his salary. Not only he, the other employees of the post office, they also did the same. And then they decided to help this fellow named Lencho. It was impossible for him to gather together the the 100 pesos. So he was able to send the farmer only a little more than a half. He put the money in the envelope addressed to Lencho, with it a letter containing only a single word as a signature, God. This last sentence, students, is very, very important. The question comes on it, why did the postmaster sign the letter as God? And it's a very important question. So based on the portion of the chapter which we have read up till now, we have few questions based on them. Question number 1 is, who or what did Lencho have faith in? What did he do? Second part. The first part, Lencho had strong faith in God. What did he do? He wrote a letter to God asking for help. And what was the help like? He had requested for 100 pesos. Question number 2, who read the letter? The letter was read by the postman and then taken to the postmaster. Question number 3, what did the postmaster do then? Definitely, first the postmaster was also laughing. He was quite amused because in his entire career he has never seen any letter which was addressed to God. But then he decided he was a nice man. He decided he's going to help this person and is going to respect his faith in God. But when he opened the letter, he came to know that it was more than what he thought, because the letter was asking for 100 pesos. And then students, what did he decide? They all decided that they're going to collect some amount of money. And how are they going to collect the amount of money? The postmaster gave away a part of his salary. So did the rest of the employees of the post office. And that is how they collected a little sum more than half part of what Lencho had asked for as the money. And then what did they do the last? They had put this money into the letter, and then they also wrote a paper, not a paper, in fact, he signed a paper as God. Who? The postmaster. The postmaster signed the letter as God, put the money in the envelope, and they sent it to Lencho.